Hello again, folks. It's your boy Vendetta back again. Welcome back to another video and yet another episode of Furtime Talktime. And I don't even know what to do anymore. I've lost all sense of control of my life, but I'm not going to explain it any further. And also, you joined me in one of my houses, but I'm not going to disclose that any further. So now it's time to welcome the episode 8's guest. So I will let you introduce yourself. Just tell the viewer, basically basic introductions. Just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, what you do. So, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you NaboYabo.
Hello. I'm Nabo. TikTok, random Wolverine, and on Twitch as well. A lot of times I do dance stuff and random music videos, so that's usually my whole thing there.
Mm-hmm. Basically a lot of TikTok shit. Go check him out.
Yeah, just the usual TikTok stuff.
Pretty much. Anyway, I guess without hesitation, let's get into it. So Nabo, first question, very important.
Yes.
Why did you start content creation?
Oh, that is a very important question. Well, I think it really came from, I've always wanted to create something. I've worked with different films and little shorts that I would do with friends, and joined a little group of folks where we made a 48-hour film festival and such. So I've always wanted to do sort of content creation of some sort, but I never knew what that would be for me. So I always just joined other things, and I started TikTok because some friends were like, you should do this, I'm doing this right now, you should do this. And I was like, why not, I'll give it a try. So I threw up a video not expecting anything, and people were like, oh, you should do more. And I was like, okay. And here I come. Here I am.
Number one reason of content creation: peer pressure. Because I was technically peer pressured. That's exactly what content creation is. When you know other content creators, it's basically peer pressure. Mm-hmm. Because I was basically peer pressured because I fucking hang out with a lot of content creators throughout this year. So I became jealous of why am I not doing my own shit?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what content creation is.
Dancing, and people might enjoy it. Why not?
Yeah, and I talk to people on YouTube for a living, so why the hell not? Well, not for a living.
Exactly.
I have other things to do. Don't you think I do this for a living? All right. And there goes Nabo. All right, and there goes Nabo into the abyss, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no, my hip. Sorry. That's the biggest issue with dancing all the time, is that sometimes your trackers are too tired of you because you keep running and doing silly things. And so every once in a while my hip tracker says, oh, see you later.
And that's one of the difficulties of wonderful body. So let's move on to the next question. Second, also important question. How and why did you get into the furry fandom?
That one's kind of a very interesting tale in a sense.
Go on.
I'd always been interested in when since I was 12, really I would say my full start was watching Digimon, and of course, who else didn't get their start watching Disney's Robin Hood, and Cats Don't Dance. Really, Cats Don't Dance and Digimon were the two things that got me into it, but I never participated until about, and funny enough, people don't really notice that when I say this, but I didn't really actively doing anything in the furry fandom until last year. I'm a very, very new furry with everything, and the reason why I sort of got in was actually my best friend, Luis, who is actually an artist. We went to college together, and we were both kind of like secret furries. So like we roomed together and everything, and we both hid like what we liked about being a furry from each other. So we went through an entire college experience not talking about it at all until we were just like reconnecting. And he was like, yeah, I'm on VR chat, I do this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I joined him one day, and yeah.
Yep. Basically, VR chat, it's an infection. You get infected into a furry.
Yep.
And that's how I got
It was
into
great. I've loved it ever since.
That's technically one of the reasons that I got a furry fandom. It's similar to what movies have, like animated movies have done. Like, I've had a similar experience, like back in when I was like 8 or something, when I watched like Pokemon, the Pokemon anime all the time, and a lot of talking animal movies. So it didn't dawn at me until like I saw like VR furry videos, and then that's when I started to really, I won't say participate, but I dove into it. But I do know what you were going with the whole secret furry, because through high school I really hit it because reasons that I'm not going to get into now.
It happens, and I mean that's kind of like what I did. I mean even my like closest friends that know everything about me did not know that until I was just like, oh hey, here. And then I also do TikTok, and slowly my coworker found out, and now the business in which I work knows that I do TikTok and knows I'm a furry, so that's interesting. So yeah, you know, it's sort of accidentally spread.
Pretty much that's what happens when you become a furry. It just spreads like a virus.
Exactly.
Anyway, before we, talk too much smack or about stuff, moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
So now, but my next question for you is, what are some goals you have for being a content creator, whether being on Twitch or TikTok?
It's funny. I think really my main goal, because I know a lot of folks who want to like make like this a career or like really go farther with it. I'm actually pretty comfortable just like doing this for fun for myself, so for right now, like my goal for both of them that I at least hope to achieve is that at least I'm like, if I can bring a smile to somebody's face with any of the content that I do and how I am, then that's fine with me. Like that's my goal. It's just to continuously like do that. If I can make people happy, I can make people enjoy for a little bit, I'm cool. I don't, it'd be cool if it like blew up or anything like that. That's totally cool. But for me, I'm fine where I am, Yeah.
I think a lot of us
I'm fine being silly each day.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have become fine where we are right now because we don't care about numbers or analytics or anything. We just care about making people happy and hope to inspire someone.
Yeah. That's honestly like what's always made me the happiest. It's just I put out a dance video and somebody is like, whoa, this is cool, and I liked it, or like I'll randomly run into somebody in a public world and they're like, yo, I see your stuff, you one person even said you inspired me to like dance more often, and I'm like, that's amazing. You're expressing yourself. If you're expressing yourself and you're so happy about it, that's my goal. Like if I hear that, then I'm happy. I don't need anything else.
I think that's what a lot of us want. Yep. All right. Next question, shall we? So my next question for you, if you don't mind me asking, who is someone that you look up to, like as inspiration for what you've done?
So when it comes to inspiration, for me to like understand like jumping into TikTok, I watched like quite a few people. One of the people that I like always watch was actually Foxtrot. I watched his content a lot because I sort of related to him based on his age and my age, and I was like, oh, I'm 32, he's in his 30s, like this feels comfy. I can like sort of understand like what it is to be a TikToker in that age range. And so, you know, when it was jumping into TikTok, it was that, but the overall like growing up and wanting to be an actor and a movie director and such, like when I finally got to do that, my biggest inspiration was actually George A. Romero, director of Night of the Living Dead and all the Living Dead awesome movies. Like he was a huge inspiration to me because of how grassroots Night of the Living Dead was and what it's grown to be now. It's almost household name, and the things that he did to make that movie happen, its stance in cinema history, that's always been a huge inspiration for me. And so a lot of things that I do whenever I'm doing any videos and how I'm like coming up with shots and such, I always think like, you know, how would he capture the shot, or what would be a way that I can like recreate this? Something that like, I don't want to say that we're limited in VR, but like, you know, we all have like things that we can and can't do within the confines of, you know, some trackers and a controller or two. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we can do like heck of a lot, but what we have already is amazing. Like
Pretty
take
much.
for example like this
Yeah, and I just
house we're in, your avatar and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to roll back to the previous question about goals for content creation, because I would like to share a goal that I have is to be able to make my own VR chat movie. Like I want to be like I've always loved film and everything. I was really inspired by the stuff by Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan's stuff, and and yes, I do have
I love Denis. Sorry.
I do too. Yeah, and their stuff really like are really making me plans to do like my own short films, like with the one I'm doing right now, if you haven't seen it. And it's short, it's only like a mini series, but I do want to try. I am planning on making my own VR chat movie, but the plans and the details will be released soon, probably around middle of 2023.
Heck yeah. That's honestly even I love it. That's yes. I hope you I don't even know why I'm going to say I hope you achieve that goal. I know you will achieve that goal, because that's an amazing goal. I know you will.
It seems far-fetched, but I really hope so.
Of course. It always does. Every goal seems that way sometimes, but it's once when you start doing those little bit of blocks, and then as you keep creeping forward, you'll hit it, and then by the time you get there, you're like, oh, I thought that was going to be hard, and it was like a smooth breeze. Well, with some bumps, but always a smooth breeze with a little bumps.
Pretty much, yep. And I just want to say something to the viewers. Never be afraid if you want to achieve your goals. Whatever you put your mind to, I know you can achieve it. Before I make someone cry in this video, and I know someone will cry during this part. Moving on to the next question. So, Nabo, my next question for you is:
Hi.
Is there any advice that you would give to the viewers right now if they wanted to start content creation, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, and even TikTok?
First thing I always like to say is definitely soak up information in any way you can. Be that watching your favorite streamer or TikToker, be that watching things on YouTube, be that watching like some movies or shows that inspire you, or listening to music that inspire you, or looking at a piece of art that inspires you. Find that inspiration that drives you and then push for that. Because if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it to just be like, oh, I'm going to be the next big thing, it's not gonna you're not going to feel good while doing it. You're going to burn yourself out quickly, chasing for numbers, chasing for this. And at some point, you just got to understand that the numbers and things like that, they are literally just like little things there. They don't mean anything, especially when you're really trying to find what makes you and your voice and your style and everything of that nature. So I always like to tell people to do things that you want to do in your way, in your style, because it means so much. Because doing that early on, you'll have a great footing for yourself, like to grow in any kind of way you would like to. And you don't. And the other thing I'd say is like you don't need like the biggest, fanciest computer. You don't need the biggest, fanciest, headset or anything of that nature. For the longest time, people didn't know that I was doing all of like my editing and everything there on a little laptop and like all of my VR stuff all on a laptop. Like you don't need a hefty computer, and there's folks out there that don't even have a computer that just do it all through regular Quest. It goes back to what I said earlier, is that what inspired me about George A. Romero is that you take what you have and create the best way you can. You don't need to chase after full body. You don't need to chase after index. You don't need to chase after any of these things. You do what you can and create and see what you can do, because that will be the most authentic version of you. And as you are able to get whatever more that you want to like really flesh out your dream like look and everything else, you've already found that authentic you, and it's just now even greater at that point. And that's the best way I tell people how to grow. Find your authentic self first, and then build upon that.
I actually learned a few things about what you just said. And there's also another piece of advice that I never mentioned that I've never told anyone. Even though you're afraid to reach out to someone and collaborate, don't be afraid. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I have a hard time reaching out, but eventually I gather up the courage and I reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to make a video or something?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to collaborate, and yeah, that's the biggest thing I've learned about collaboration.
Mm-hmm. It's so
Because
nice too.
It's
Like
gonna be.
I feel so like nervous about it too. I always feel nervous about it.
Yeah, because there is gonna be points where you're going to want to do videos with other people. You can never just do. You can, but it's harder if you do things on your own. You're going to want some extra pair of hands, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And honestly,
Absolutely.
if it wasn't for Leon, I don't think I wouldn't have ever met you.
Oh. I feel because we did connect through Leon, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
That's so cool.
Because I asked Leon if he knew anyone that wanted to do it, and he asked. Yeah.
Oh.
Then I found you. And I have to tell you, I like you already.
Oh, shucks.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Let's move on.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so late.
No, you're not. You're genuinely cool.
Thank you. And so are you. Like, that's genuine. That's what I love.
Aww.
That's my favorite.
Nah, I'm just a dork on the internet.
Who isn't?
Fair answer.
Hey.
All right, let's move on. So, this next question is gonna be a bit of a deep question. So, in your honest opinion, what's been the biggest challenge for you as a content creator?
I would say a lot of it has just been my own self-esteem of sorts. A lot of I'm not gonna ever say that I'm like some amazing dancer. I like my dance moves, and what I do is a lot of like I try to understand a lot of different moves from different things I've watched. I'm self-taught in a lot of ways, but there are so many other folks that I love looking at and aspire to be in terms of their own moves. And then again, with my age as well, it's kind of hard to tell myself that I can be in these types of spaces, that I can be on TikTok, that I can do these types of things and it's okay. And that's why, like, I've watched Foxtrot and so many folks many different times. It's just like I'm understanding that they're also my age and they're doing this and it's okay. I want to just feel that I can be in a space and be okay, and it's something that is always in my mind that I'm constantly fighting with myself, saying that no, you're fine, you can do this, you can make this video and put it out, it's fine. Or you're allowed to be at a hangout with a bunch of creators, you're allowed to go up to a person and say hello, you're allowed to do these things. And it's just something that I'm constantly fighting with myself, which is why I'm a lot of times like in my own little spaces, like building up the courage to like be out there. So a lot of times I would say one of the biggest challenges is truly myself wanting to feel that I am allowed to go out and do things. I am allowed to dance in this way, even though I'm not, like some top tier 7-point tracking, dude, I am allowed to still have a Quest 2 and, rig up some Vive trackers and still be in the same space as people with indexes and their trackers and such. I am like just telling myself I am allowed to be me and be myself and be my authentic self is a challenge that I'm fighting constantly, but I'm thankful that I am overcoming it to be able to do these things. So that is always a challenge.
Yep, it's a challenge for pretty much anyone, including me. Because
Absolutely.
my brain just went blank for some fucking reason. And I don't know why. Like I said, I have no plan. And I guess the biggest for me, it's always been anxiety for me. Like being around other content creators, like that's always been like something like, oh fuck, I can't believe I'm around this person. But something I'm trying to understand is that they're human, and that's always something so difficult that I've now come to realize that these people are just people entertaining others. And
it's nice then. I have to tell myself that all the time, that we're all just here being silly and having fun together, so it's totally fine that you're doing your own little thing there and this person's doing their own little thing there. Like what we're doing together as a whole is so much more meaningful and impactful in so many different ways. So I'm just telling yourself that what you're doing does matter, even if it feels like it doesn't. It does matter all the time.
Yep. And another challenge, ideas. I suck at creating ideas.
Yes. Oh gosh. You're telling me.
Ideas.
Oh
suck,
my
ladies and
gosh.
gentlemen. You have one good idea. At the next moment, you don't know what you're doing, and you decide to scrap the plan, which is something I didn't want to do. You don't want to do it, but you kind of have to. If you can't do it.
There is an entire folder of clips that I have that I call Graveyard, that I just say, I can't do this. Put it in the graveyard. I'll come back to it later. And sometimes I resurrect those clips and put them in other things, and that's what I call my zombie TikToks, where they have splices of older clips from the graveyard.
All right.
That's how I make my craziness fun.
Isn't that how we all make our craziness fun?
Exactly.
I should know better. I should know better, people. You know, content creator. And I've been doing this a long time, and I still don't know any better. So let's move on before I lose my fucking mind. So, as you know, we're VR content creators. So, it's a general question that I have to ask about. So, how has your perspective of virtual reality changed over the years?
Quite intensely. I've always been following it along. As it was developing. I had my first headset was the CV1, the Oculus CV1 that I bought from a random dude while I was working food delivery. That was interesting. But like I had always been interested in it. But at the time when I wanted to get into it, it was too expensive. So I was just like on the sidelines looking. I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Then I put on the CV1 for the first time and I'm like starting to understand. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can see my hands. This is crazy. And, everybody kept saying, oh, wait until you can like move your feet and things like that. And I've always thought like that is going to be the coolest thing, that we can move our feet in VR. And then we're moving our feet in VR. And
yeah,
like,
we're moving our
this
feet.
is cool.
And then we just did the mirror for 8 hours.
Like, I could move. Exactly. We're moving our feet, and then I'm going to go to sleep. Thanks. But that's also part of it, too. Because like now we're seeing a reflection of ourselves in there.
Of how we express ourselves.
And exactly. And we're seeing every, like, the most authentic part of ourselves just here. And it's so cool. So, like, for me, like, I always thought of it as just like, oh, it'll be cool for a little shoot video game or, acting like you're cutting a bomb wire. But my mind, while was at the social aspect, never imagined it to be to this part of the social aspect where we can create videos in here and we can take pictures and we can like have discussions with folks and go to these different worlds and see creations of this way. It's so cool, and it's just constantly expanding, both in the virtual reality space and outside of it, to connect us more with the virtual reality space. And that's also cool. Like, I don't know, like I could go all day about like how like I think it's just cool so much.
Any one of us could.
And it makes me so excited.
Any one of us could. Any one of us could. Ask any VR person out there, and they will explain how fucking amazing it is.
And this is just coming from a person at my age, is that it makes me so excited for folks your age and younger getting into the space for the first time with all of these advancements, and then how y'all can continue it. And it just grows and grows and grows. And that's the most exciting part to me, just seeing where we are now and where we can be in the future, and then how those future folks bring it for those future folks, and then it just continues. And then what are we gonna have? Like, who knows? The exciting part for me is the unknown. The unknown of where this will. I don't even want to say it'll end, but just where it'll keep going.
Yep, pretty much. I'm always really excited for the future era, but my curiosity is that how you got your CV1. I was just like, how the fuck did that happen? That's where half of my mind has been the entire time.
It's
you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me.
So I worked for a local food delivery service in my town, and we partnered with all these different restaurants and such, and it was just it was like DoorDash before DoorDash was like really big in our city, and so it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed the time there because, man, you'd run into some interesting characters. But where I live, there's like 4 sections, and a lot of the sections that you can go to, that's where the people will go and order, like, when you go to a sushi restaurant and they have like the sushi boat for like $120, and you're like, who would buy that? These are the types of people that would buy that and have that delivered to their house. It's ridiculous. So one of the guys, I've been to this house many different times, and he ordered from the same sushi restaurant. Really cool dude. And I noticed as I was driving it up, I was like, man, this is a lot of sushi. He ordered like $300 worth of sushi and beer. It was crazy. Yeah. And I was like, this couldn't be just for him. Like, literally could not be just for him. I pull in, and there's like all these cars there at this I and I'm walking up to it, and this dude is plastered. He is absolutely gone. And I was like, hey man, it's me, how's it going? And he's like, oh dude, you're my delivery driver. I knew. I'm so excited. So good to see you, man. What's going on? And so we were like, bullshitting back and forth for like a little bit. And we also talked about like different video games. Like he was into Counter-Strike, and I was talking about like Counter-Strike and such. So blah 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 blah. And he just mentions like offhand, he's like, yeah, I got this virtual reality thing, and I was like, I don't know if I want it, so I'm about to put it on Craigslist. And I was like, ears perked. How much you putting it on there for, friend? And he's like, I don't know. I was thinking about like 300, whatever else. But wait, do you want it? I was like, I mean, I don't have 300 on me right now or anything. He's like, yo, if you got 100, I'll give it to you. And I was like, 100? So I was like, okay. So I quickly messaged my dispatcher. I was like, yo, I got to take a quick break. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, sure. It's not busy. I was like, great. And so I just ran back to my car, put that in gear, and drove to the ATM, got $100 out, drove back up the mountain. I was like, here's 100. He was like, all right, cool.
I just want to remind you all.
Yes, and I put that in my car.
I just want to remind you, viewers, this was not planned. Okay, this part of this video was not planned. This was pure curiosity. As soon as he said it, like half of the mind was going, "How the fuck did that happen?" That was not part of the plan. But it's okay. Nothing in content
I said
creation.
Those exact words. Driving away.
Even though things are not part of the plan, we're still doing this video, so we're moving on before something else interesting happens. Oh. Well, after that unplanned segment, I think we should go into more some general knowledge about Nabo. So Nabo, my next question for you is,
hi.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I've always wanted to go to the western part of the United States for a longer period of time. I've only went once, and that was like to BLFC. But I actually really want to visit Montana. I don't know why Montana, but for some reason I want to go to Montana. But like my absolute, I want to go to this place. I wish for it the day I can, would be South Korea. I've always wanted to go to South Korea. I would love to go and visit Seoul. I want to go to like so many different spots there that I just, it would be so cool. Yeah,
There's a
South
lot
Korea
of
would be like my.
places that I would visit. I would also visit West USA, but I would visit like Nevada, Arizona, California, all the great national parks in the West USA. Actually, do a big like caravan trip, like a big RV trip. That would be awesome. Because I used to actually do camping quite a lot. And I've actually camped in the US. Yes,
I love camping.
I wish I could do more of it, but I think I also really want to revisit Europe. I really want to go to Singapore, but the number one dream spot, my number one dream spot to go, it's gotta be Iceland.
True. Iceland would be so pretty, though.
Yeah, I really, really want to go to Iceland.
True. Oh, and one more place, the Netherlands. I would love to go to the Netherlands because my best friend from high school lives there now, and he's like, "Oh, I'm always here. I have, all this other cool stuff," and he tells me all these great things. I would love to go to the Netherlands. That would be a cool
Another
spot
place
too.
I would like to go is Norway.
Ooh, yes.
North Europe would be North Europe would be awesome to go visit.
It would.
And before we be jealousy of ourselves about our places we want to go, let's move on. So it's gonna be another deep question. So Nabo, my next question for you is,
okay,
what's the biggest change that you saw in yourself during your content creation path?
I would say the biggest change that I saw in myself is that I became more accepting of myself. I always kept myself, like I mentioned before, I kept myself out of different spaces just because of my age. I kept myself out of places because I thought that, like, other very negative things that happened to me growing up kept me from wanting to do things because of my race. And just like, accepting myself of who I am and what I do has been the hardest thing. And with content creation, I've sort of overcome that now, and it's very nice. Really, content creation in VR itself has helped me overcome a lot of that terror in my mind.
Yeah, I think the biggest change that I've seen about myself in content creation has definitely been I was more open about myself, because over the years, like throughout childhood, I never really expressed myself because I was always considered difficult. I would say, but I think this has really changed me for the better. I started being more open about myself, more social, and just really started being myself again.
That's always the best part. That's always the best part.
Because I never.
It's hard to get to that point, but it's nice.
Because I never really could be myself for so many years. I spent years trying to hide myself, trying to please other people, but I never would, taking satisfaction of making me happy. So now that I kind of actually am, it's always been the best feeling in the whole world.
It really is. If you told 2 years prior me that I would be able to be open about all the things that I hid for the other 30 years of my life, I would just say, no, that's not possible. I wouldn't believe it, and here I am. So much more accepting of myself, so much more out there, and a lot of times it feels like a big weight off your shoulder,
I think it was the same. If I told myself 2 years ago that I would have all these amazing friends. I would be doing YouTube again. Better enough. Fun fact enough, this is not the first time I've done YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to a Minecraft YouTube camp back when I was 13, and I learned how to make videos on Minecraft doing crappy high pixel videos. And then I stopped for a little
When I was younger, I did that with Halo.
We all have to start somewhere. So this is basically round 2 right now of content creation of YouTube.
Heck yeah.
But
Heck yeah.
for me, round 2 was basically a little bit different, because I wanted to technically make smarter decisions. I wanted to make more strategic decisions if I ever want to keep doing this, which I do. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And I do plan on taking things a step further and explore other platforms, which I'll explain about in another video.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Sorry, it's just really amazing to see how much a person can grow when they're making videos.
Yeah.
And
It feels weird sometimes, but
yeah,
it feels comfy.
Yep, you find, and eventually you'll find a groove. You'll find a platform that makes it stick. I mean, for you and Leon and them, it was TikTok. For Leon, Maple, Aki, Tempest, it was Twitch. For me, it was YouTube. So, another piece of advice I would give: find what makes you stick. Before I make anyone cry, which I will, hopefully, probably, I don't know if it's likely, but I probably will, but let's move on. So, Nabo, my next question for you is there any particular item besides your VR that has special meaning to you?
Absolutely. And it's funny because you see, it's an item that I even wear currently, in VR. I had a dog. His name was Fred. He was my absolute favorite dog. Grew up on a farm, and I had horses and chickens and pigs and dogs all my life, and Fred was one that stuck out to me forever. He was the best dog I ever had. Me and my father, we took him hunting, and he was there when I went to college. He was there when I graduated college. He was there throughout my whole life, basically. And unfortunately, one day he was struck by a car from someone, and they did not help him. And he hobbled his way back to the house, and I was at work, and I was coming home, and unfortunately my mom had found him, and he was barely breathing, and wrapped him up in a towel, and he was just holding on. And I pulled into the driveway, and Mom was telling me about it, and I was just crying, and I just held him a little bit there while he took his final breath, and he went up and licked my cheek, and then he passed. And that broke me for a long period of time. So I keep his collar. And it travels with me anywhere I go. It's always in my bag in a carry-on because he is he was one of the biggest parts of me. And that's why I have this collar on for my main avatar to represent him all the time. And it's funny, so many people are like, oh, I'm gonna, who collared you? Who did that? Blah, blah, blah. It's never a collar for any of those means. It's a collar that is just very sentimental for my dog. And I leave the tag blank because I haven't decided what I wanted to put on it yet. But I'm basically reserving that for when I finally feel like what I want to go there.
Yeah, I would like. Yeah, I do have a special item too. It's a little Hot Wheels of a Nissan GTR R35 that I literally take with me every, like with your collar of Fred. I take it with me everywhere I go because that is my dream car. That is the car I want to own.
Yeah.
And drive along the coastline. And whenever I'm in a stressful moment, I take the little car out and I just hold on to it and remind myself. So that little car, I've even gotten made fun for it. A lot because but no one really understood why I carry that little car with me, but I've gotten made fun of it for it because I was literally a teenager taking it. I do take it with me. I keep it in my front pocket of my backpack whenever I go to school or anything, whenever I go to college. I've even taken it with me during high school, and yeah, but that little car has gotten me through some tough times.
Absolutely. And that's always beautiful too. Like, yeah, people a lot of times don't understand the items that mean so much to us, but we know that meaning, and a lot of times that's what makes it more special. Because of that, and why we have it. Even if people don't know, it means a lot to us.
Yep. It's the only thing that matters. That if it means something to you, that's great. So before something happens, let's move on. What are you laughing about?
Always. It's a habit.
We all have habits. Anyway. Yeah.
We all have so many.
Anyway. My next question is, do you have a special song? Like a song that has certain meaning to you?
I have a few. I'd say one, which is also direct relation to Fred, is Gomez's How We Operate. For some reason, the first time I heard that song was from a silly horror movie that came out called The Hitchhiker. But that song, I don't know why, I was like, oh man, this is a really cool jam. And I liked it, but I noticed that every time it came on, Fred had like a little, like something about the song and how it played, just like tickled something in his head. And he was just like always about it. And so every time I play that song, I think of Fred. Memorized a lot of the words. He used to sing it every once in a while. But it's one that has it for some reason it just makes me smile every time I hear it, every time I sing it. It's just sweet, and it has nothing to do with anything. Like it's basically like a song about a relationship between two people in a sense. It is just nothing else to do with anything, but it has such a strange and sweet meaning.
Yeah, I actually do have a few. I have a lot of special songs, but I'll name like
Right.
everyone has got so many special songs, but particularly me because I'm a music person. So one of the songs that I like because of its meaning is wait, what the fuck? I lost it. It just went, my mind just went blank for 5 seconds and I lost it.
Oh no.
Starting to come. Oh wait, I got it now. One of them was Satellite by Starset. Because I
like that song.
Yeah. Because a lot of you don't know, I'm a big fan of, I love Starset. If you ask me what my favorite rock band is, no hesitation, I will immediately yell at you, Starset. But why Satellite means so much to me is because it's one of those songs those uplifting songs, and those are the songs that always stuck to me. It's like Not Alone by Red was also a song that I rather recently listened to, but as soon as I listen to it more, you begin to understand like you're never I've been like so lonely for 8 years of my life. I maybe had like the closest friends like roughly when I was like 8 or 9 or something. But when I moved west, I didn't realize what was gonna happen to me, and I couldn't really connect with anyone else. But I listened to that song about a year ago, and that song made me realize that all those years I've never been truly alone. I was just going through a difficult spot, but you'll be able to get back up again. And it's always those songs that may, it sounds a bit corny, but in one sense a song could save a life. And that's one thing, music has really kept me going all these years. It's been a medicine.
I'm like that with Childish Gambino's Life the Biggest Troll. That's one song that's kept me going for some reason. It grounds me every time I listen to it. I can just listen to it on repeat over and over. It just keeps me grounded in my head. The situation around me for some reason. It's just, that's how it speaks to me.
Before we talk too deep, let's move on.
Yes.
I swear, if these conversations, they're getting too interesting, like that. I also just want to say that's why I do these interviews. It's not just about you're learning about your favorite content creator. That hold on, I'll explain more about it in a.
You're good.
I'm scatterbrained. I've been scatterbrained.
Oh.
All right. So now my next question is, what's the best part of being a content creator?
I've seen myself grow in how I wanted to shape my art. through content creation. Whenever I'd get to a point where I didn't understand something, or I felt confused or blocked or anything, especially like, and I'm sure you know, like when we were talking earlier about ideas, where you sometimes just sit there and you're just like, I just can't create. You can go like days and weeks, even months, just not making a single thing because you're in this block. The best thing about, to me, when it comes to content creation, even when you hit those blocks, things I found like help me has been to just, yeah, I'm making things for others and it brings them happiness. But I always like try to focus on making things for myself, for my own happiness. And I think where I feel good about that is that, like, I'll start, like, when I hit a block and I just can't make a TikTok, I just start doing photography for myself. And that just sort of like, I might throw like a couple of pictures out that I've taken so people can see, keep up that kind of like content, here you go kind of thing, but I'm making it for myself and it makes me happy. And I think that's what I've kind of like understood as my goal, is to make others happy. So yeah, making myself happy and others happy has been like the best thing for content creation to me, you know?
Yeah, the best thing about it's about a few parts. Like, the best part about doing this interview series is, well, I would say podcast, but it's technically interview, but it's a video show, but because I want to bring that VR chat element here. But the best part about it is, it's not about, I mean, it still is about learning about your favorite content creator and how they came the person to be. That's what this interview series is all about. But to me, I just see it as two people having a conversation. That's genuinely how one could see it.
Absolutely. That's the beautiful thing about our interpretation of it.
Yeah, and the best thing that got me through and I will throw something out there. If you're nervous about the camera being in front of you and you're working with someone, try doing something I do. Eye contact. Just pretend that the camera isn't there and you're just actually just talking to them. That's how I got through the first interview. I just made eye contact with Luna the entire time. And if I just maintain eye contact, it's just, the camera's not there. And I will point out, the Beat Saber videos, I know I do a lot of ranked songs and all that, but I just want to showcase some of the nicest works of art that all these artists have. I do say artists, I know they're mappers, but they truly have created something. Some of them can truly create something special. And I just want to show the creative freedom that the game has become. Hell, it's not just Beat Saber, even VR Chat, even other VR games you can name of. They allow creative freedom to work and flow and allow to be the person that they want to be in content creation.
And that's the best part, is like that content creation just doesn't even stop it, just like VR chat or creating a map in Beat Saber. It just goes so far. And I think that's the best thing about it. Is another great thing about it as well, is that the content creation is almost limitless. It's just there's content for someone somewhere out there that you can do. And that's another thing you can take.
Yeah.
whatever
Right.
you want to have, like as your niche, do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody out there that's going to enjoy it, and if there isn't, there will be.
Exactly. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. Let me just do something really quick. Ba-ba-ba.
Take your time.
Alrighty, I will. Stop being a bit of a nerd. Anyway, so wait, how long have I been? Okay, I think maybe one more. So, Nabo, my last question for you is there anyone out there that you want to thank for making this possible for you?
A lot of people, really. But to narrow it down, Fox Scott, because that boy was persistent and like, Nabo, you can do this. You would be great. You have this. You can do it. You can do it. Always persistent and ever wonderful for teaching me and helping me. Another creator, Rune Wolf, helping me so much during me starting up Twitch and learning through that. Another friend, Tarkua, he just was always inspirational. I would show him different things that I made. He's like, what do you think? He's like, oh, y'all posted, kind of deal. And it meant so much. And just my general friend group, and Ace, absolutely wonderful boyo. Was one of it was like a protege that appeared in a lot of my earlier videos. He was also right there. It's like, you should do it. I'm already on TikTok. You should do this too. It just pushed it over and over. And I was like, no. Those folks meant so much into me feeling like I could actually do it. And it meant the world. And I think the top honor for all of that would have to go to Luis or that werewolf guy or he's my absolute best friend. I think the world of him, and he has seen me through some of the most ridiculous predicaments in college, even up until today. When we get to the room with each other when we're at BLFC and most recently at FWA, he's helped me find myself through my darkest times. And he's always been right there. And when I started being a furry and I said, I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. And he's like, you can just be yourself. And I was like, yeah. And when I was starting up TikTok, I told him I was going to do this. And he was right there behind me, yeah. And then I am thankful for the friends that I have, the close friends that I have, for so much to where I am, and including my IRL best friends. For when I told them about this and what I was doing and how I was doing it, they were there during some of the most darker, the darker parts of my IRL times, and I told them about what I do here, and they were all over there just I'm gonna follow you, I'm gonna like your stuff. And they're not even furries, and they still are just I just want to be there for you. And I don't think I will ever be able to truly thank every single person that I even mentioned enough. And there are even a few people like Jazzy and Stoic and Soa that I didn't even mention in that, but they've done so much as well. And those are the folks that I would say, and I don't think I'll ever be able to properly repay them for how much it meant.
Alrighty. And I guess that'll do it for this video. So hopefully, if you liked it, if you did,
yes,
please sure to subscribe, turn on the bell, and like this video. And as always, I will link Nabo's TikTok and Twitch in the description. So check him out, follow him, and give him all the love and support.
Thank you, and thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
It's not a thank you for coming. And I guess stay safe, take it easy, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later, y'all.
Bye.
And I'm gonna go make tacos later. Peace!